Hi, this is Priyanka Chopra and you're watching Channel Y.
The biggest South Asian media group, Y Media.
Y Media Group, established in 2001, is a media company with a 360-degree approach in reaching our audience over 5 platforms: television, radio, newspaper, online news portal, and mobile app.
Y Media has newspaper, midweek, radio, South Asian pop.
Hi, I'm Amitabh Bachchan, and you're listening to South Asian Pulse.
Hi, this is Amir Khan, and you're listening to South Asian Pulse.
अब हर दिन सुने GTA का नंबर 1 रेडियो स्टेशन FM 91.9
All English 24/7 television network and Y Media Plus.
You are watching Channel Y. Channel Y.
Prime Minister, welcome.
It's a pleasure to be here. It's a pleasure to be back.
Online, SouthAsianDaily.com. The biggest South Asian media group, Y Media.
Hello everyone, my name is Yadoo Jaswal. I'm the group editor at Y Media. And today we will be discussing what is the future of media, and of course we'll also be discussing what is the future of ethnic media, how does media work, how does advertising work, and in particularly how does ethnic advertising work. We have a very special guest on our channel today. We'd like to welcome Sharifa Khan, who is the founder and the president of Balmoral Marketing. Sharifa, a very warm welcome on behalf of Y Media. How are you?
Yeah, very good. Thank you very much for having me today.
You are very welcome. It's an absolute pleasure. It's an honor to have you here tonight. And just outside also we were having this chat, and I wanted to listen from you, first of all. How do you see the media landscape today?
Well, it's very fragmented, I have to say. It's very fragmented. But however, in your part as ethnic media, you have such an important role to play. For example, you've seen the Statistic Canada 2021 statistic that came out. Now, right now, there's 10 million Canadians that are ethnic minority, which is about 27%. Data is clear. It shows that the landscape of Canada has changed and will continue to change. 27% of Canadians are landed immigrants. So need I say more in a sense of how ethnic media play a role? Because with the immigrant journey, when you first come to Canada, you embrace this country because you already research and say, this is a wonderful country to live in. Free Medicare, good environment, good education. But also at the same time, when you first landed, number one, you gravitate towards your ethnic media because you still want to be connected to back home. What is the news? What's happening in Pakistan? What's happening in India? What's happening in Sri Lanka and other parts of the world? So it's very important that you still have that connection for them for back home. And then, of course, they gravitate towards their programming. What are some of the Indian shows they're used to, and what are some of the Bollywood and entertainment program? You play a very important role in getting the first step landed and still feel they're at home. And then, of course, they have an immigrant journey. They would definitely, if you have good programming, if you have good content that are resonating with them, they would stick with you. And also, there are different age group of the audience of immigrants too. Well, there will be the first generation, and even depends on the age group they come in. Are they under 30? Are they over 35? So if your group have the offerings of targeting these groups, agency like us will be very helpful in helping and guiding our clients as to which program or which platform within your group are suitable for my brands, my clients' brands.
All right. You've been in the business for good
33 years.
33 years. Well, I'm saying 35 because you've been in media before as well.
Yeah.
So good 33, 35 years around that time now. And I still remember about 2 decades ago, you were just giving the immigrant numbers, we didn't see that many corporate ads in ethnic media at that time. And now I don't recall any of these corporate houses, from Walmart to Amazon to Zoom to Samsung, Rogers, Bell, they're all advertising in ethnic media. And you've played a very important part in that.
Yeah.
How did you do that?
Well, it's with determination
Okay.
and very much passion. The passion comes within because I'm an immigrant myself. So when I came here as a young person going to university, and later I landed a job at a mainstream agency, and we were servicing Canadians, targeting Canadians, but I see a gap there already. Brands were not talking to immigrants at all, because a lot of brands and corporate, even way back 20, 30 years ago, think that immigrants are perception of lack of resources, you know, in a sense of the talents, the skill sets, lack of resources as a consumer. Of course, that's wrong. Look at the immigrants now we have right now. Canada is recruiting or letting immigrants that are professionals, that are skilled workers and entrepreneurs. They are resource rich in their talents and also in the money they bring in, you know. So this is a low-hanging fruit for a lot of corporates that they never 15 years ago have considered. But of course, I felt the tide change 15 years ago. The corner changed, the corner turned. They realized that in order for them to capture new market share, they have to start talking to immigrants. And that they are low-hanging fruits. These people have consumption power. Why? They would be doing banking. They would be buying cars. They would be buying condos, and also consumer product groups. They all have to brush their teeth. They all have to do laundry. So where is it they're going to have that additional market share? So now, finally, a lot of brands, which they ignore the immigrants way back 15 years ago, now many on the bandwagon have started. Many of our clients are very smart. They know that they have to do it, and they understand with all the data that comes through from the government, from research company, that these people have big buying power. And so things have churned right now.
Because at Y Media, you know, I've been, in the last 22 years, I've been working with many, you know, different ethnic agencies, but Balmoral is one which really stands out. And I still remember, you know, the first client that Balmoral and Y Media worked together was about 15, 20 years ago. That was Scotia Bank. Yeah. What is your secret sauce? I'm not sure whether you want to share that or not. You are still doing so well. You're ever expanding in terms of, you know, number of clients that you have, in terms of your office space, in the number of employees that you have. You're ever expanding. What's the secret sauce?
Well, I think that I myself is an immigrant.
Okay.
So that's already a plus, an edge, because I do understand the immigrant journey. And also, way back, I already feel convinced that as immigrants, that we're being ignored. So my mission in my life is what I call building bridges of understanding.
Okay.
My life mission is to build the understanding between mainstream and the immigrants group. And that's what I have followed throughout my 30-odd years as Balmoral. But also, most importantly, with any kind of business, SMEs, and you know, most of the SMEs in Canada are driven by ethnic community entrepreneurs, is that you gotta be passionate about what you do. If you're not passionate, it falls on the wayside. So you got to have a conviction, and you're going to ride the waves. There will be ups and downs. I'm not saying to you it was a smooth ride, but definitely you stay the course, you know what you want to do, and also measure expectation. You got to look at the trends, you got to look at the market, you know, what things can you achieve under a certain environment, so and you stay the course. And also, my mission in life, that I think that I would do a lot of good if I'm able to bring brands into community, because they will be enjoying, you know, whatever products that they were not used to, or maybe their products or brand that they were used to at home. So it would be like a recall, you know, for them to convince and be able to be exposed to brands. But those brands also have to be good brands and also keep their brand promise to them.
All right. And do you think the corporate brands are, you used a very nice word earlier, resonate.
Yeah.
Do you think the corporate brands are able to resonate well in the ethnic communities?
I think through trial and error, some of the brands did it in a sense of, oh, I'm just going to translate everything from English into the various languages. Of course, that's the number one mistake. It's not the language. Okay, if you can have the creative and the television commercials or radio in language is great, but it's not the language. It's the creativity, the messaging, the content that actually will resonate with South Asian group, with Chinese, with Filipino, because we all have our own cultural psychology, our attitude, our behavior. So that's a lot of at the beginning. Some of the brands was using the mainstream agency and said, just translate it or put it into media, but it didn't work. So they failed. And also at the same time after they failed, they felt it didn't work. But if they are hiring an expert like us who's been around, knowing exactly what is the messaging, looking at all campaigns through a multicultural lens as to what will make these audiences pay attention to your brand and your products is very important. So I wouldn't ask people to say, translate to all the languages, because at times, if you're creative and your message works, it doesn't matter if it's in English. Because South Asians speak all English perfectly, right? So, but if your creativity and the messaging and the environment, the cultural nuances resonate with them, you capture their attention.
Beautifully said.
Yeah.
This is one thing that I've always tried to explain to many people, and you said it so nicely, articulated so well, that yes, the message is important, the creative is important, it should resonate. That is what is important. Now, talking about another very important aspect, I still see the South Asian community, as much as the mainstream is going digital, and you know, in 2005, at Y Media, we said, let's not even call ourselves a media company. Let's start calling ourselves a digital company. And I thought MIDWEEK Newspaper is going to die down by 2010. And we shifted heavy towards the digital resources. We shifted that. But to our surprise, pleasantly, even this, we're doing almost 7.8 times the business that we did in 2005, which we did in 2021, almost a COVID period. And TV, as to our surprise, the big screen TVs, I mean, people are watching when we get calls here on the TV channel, people are still calling, and we ask them, what are you watching? They're also sitting at home or watching at home. So TV is still being viewed a lot. So when mainstream media or mainstream agencies are talking digital, which is very important, and that's a very integral part, how do you tell them that yes, there is a lot of ethnic population, especially the South Asian population, that still listen to the radio, they still watch TV, they still a bit of print as well, and of course digital as well. How do you balance all that?
So first of all, as a multicultural marketing agency, we track you guys in a sense of knowing. That's why you give us information. Who are your audience? What is the market age group that you have, and who are the ones reading your newspaper? Those are very relevant information that you've given us, and also the media behavior that they have back home. That are they tactile? They love reading newspaper. And also the fact that you are providing abundance of information once a week. You are not bombarding them every day with the newspaper, so they don't really have to buy 7 days a week. So everybody in some ways are looking forward to your newspaper. Content is king. So if your content is good, they're all looking forward to what news, what information, what columnists are saying back at home from India, from Pakistan, what are some of the up to news. You would have your radio, right? You will have your TV. So it's a mix of what you offer. And there are different market segments that would definitely gravitate to your newspaper. There are ones that are very mobile, they travel a lot, so they would be like drive time. They love your radio. And then of course the television, for example, back home, they didn't buy 65, 70 inches TV. Now, wow, they could enjoy Bollywood entertainment with your television, your great television program. So there are different market segments, and I think that with the plethora of the kind of different platforms that you're offering different things to different community segments and different age group within your South Asian community.
Rishi Sunak, just in 7 years of time, from 2015 to 2022, this guy, from being a banker becomes the Prime Minister of England, and that too, he's the leader of
That's
Tories.
great, yeah.
That's an amazing story.
Yeah.
Now I want to ask Balmoral, as much as there are so many other big, huge mainstream media agencies, do you see Balmoral reaching or even surpassing them in the coming time?
Well, I have a very important role to play. Our agency have a very important role to play, and I would continue what we're doing. But over the past 30-odd years, that also, as I say, building bridges of understanding. As an agency, as myself, we build bridges with mainstream. That is very important. And of course, I would advise any media or any corporations or any ethnic companies that you would have to cross the aisle and be able to reach out. Collaboration is the most important thing between ethnic groups, ethnic media, and mainstream, because that's how you get things done. Do I say that I would surpass any advertising agency mainstream? Well, I'm not saying that I will, but I think we're doing very well. And I think that what we have to do is continue to pitch and project to mainstream brands the relevancy of ethnic media, how they are the conduit that can help them target the multicultural group. You know, is it through mainstream? No, because mainstream is targeting the Gen Pop. But if they are serious about having that additional market share, they would have to be working with ethnic media, and that's how we do, in a sense of convincing our clients the importance of ethnic media and the importance of being able to successfully be able to gain market share within something that they've never thought of before.
All right. Social media giants are facing a massive challenge, and primarily because of the fake news content being put there, and there are other factors of that decline as well. Facebook, Meta, the main organization, they had a massive layoff. Many of the advertisers, they pulled away. Twitter had a similar story, layoffs, and many of the advertisers, they pulled away from Twitter. Despite promises, they're not able to, you know, take out the fake news from there, and there's so much challenges.
They have responsibility.
So what's your take on this one? Yeah.
I think they do have, and I think Meta and all those, Twitter is a mess right now. They really do have, and they've got deep pockets. They are in AI. They should be able to actually be able to monitor, in a sense. I mean, Meta did say they were doing it. Remember, way back, you know, Zuckerberg was able to, but it's just that they should do a better job, because in a sense that there's so much fake news and trolls working around, that most importantly, what is in a heartfelt concern is the way how fake news have been making impressions with young people, how young people are being cyberbullied, you know, and how young people are so mentally fragile that many of them, you have seen that they commit suicide because they were totally bullied on social media. I think the giants, the social media company, have huge responsibility in ensuring that they should, through their AI, through whatever technologies that they have, they should really get rid of a lot of fake news and trolls. Because look at the way how they have shaped the politics of America, of US, is because of the way how Trump has fake news, and he convinced a lot of people to vote for him. And I think a lot of people there are very simple-minded, but they've been bombarded with fake news on their smartphone every day. So if they're simple-minded about it, they'll believe anything.
Yeah, very good point that you just made. That I think the social media giants, they make a lot of money, and I think their responsibility is huge. But I doubt they're doing much to take care of all the fake news and the trouble it's creating. A lot of hatred is being spread through. You know, WhatsApp is also again owned by Meta, and Facebook, Twitter, all these social media. Not only just hate news, spreading hatred, but fake news, and all these things are definitely impacting our lives. So how you as an agency, because when you're guiding your clients at Balmoral, how would you really make sure that your advertisement is very sensitive, it's culturally sensitive, it's placed at appropriate platforms, so that there is no backfire for your clients?
Well, importantly, I have a very seasoned media team that they already have worked with ethnic media for a long time, each of them. So they understand the reach the viability, the effectiveness of all the media, including print, radio, television, and also digital. So the way we choose the ethnic media strategy, media plan strategy is very important. There are media, it doesn't matter if it's ethnic media, even out there mainstream, they're media and they're media. So we know how to separate the men from the boys, knowing which are some of them that maybe they just started, they maybe might not have a good reputation. So just as I, have a good reputation because of my years in the industry, I would like to partner with media that also would have that kind of reputation and respect from the ethnic community. So one of the things that I do very well is that we have very strong community relations. So we know who's who. We know who are the ones that really are giving us the offering, the very valuable media platforms that would help my client to have that kind of reach and impressions of their campaign. So my motto has always been saying, feet on the street and pulse on the beat. So I'm out there, I always talk to and I talk to you and say, who's who in the community, what are some of the conversation in the community about my clients, about the brands. Is it good ones? Is it bad one? So being pulse out there and be able to sever the so-called riffraff out of our choices and be able to focus on the good ones.
All right, great strategy in that way. And Balmoral, you've been continuously building a very strong brand. Mm-hmm. So, and you're doing a lot of community service as well. And I'll definitely highlight a very important thing later on. But before that, I want to ask you, what are the different community services? What are the things that you do to build your brand and give it back to the community?
Well, like a lot of immigrants, and actually some of the immigrant group that I have, doesn't matter what nationality, is that we have a bit of success right now. So in a sense, we're very much part of groups that are part of hospitals, nonprofit organizations that helping to pay forward, helping communities. And for example, I at the Mount Sinai Hospital Board of Governors, I'm honor advisor of Chinese Cultural Center. I've been vice chair of OCAT University. And my husband and I, my company, we donate to many causes. Just like this morning, we donated to Covenant House. So agency colleague, friends of us, he's actually sleeping overnight with some of the homeless. As part of calling attention to people, how terrible the situation of a homeless to be out in the cold. So we also very much other things that and also including indigenous community. My husband and I very are close to a lot of community organization, indigenous, helping indigenous kids to have money donate and raise funds for them to go to camp, which they can't afford, and also raise funds for their scholarship. So there's various very good causes out there, and I really ask people to really, if you are an entrepreneur, you're a professional, you are at a good state, in income, to pave it forward to some of the very, very, very important causes. One thing I do care very much is also hiring immigrants because they're, according to their credentials, of course, and if they have good credentials from back home, from China, from Hong Kong, from India, from Pakistan, I have been helping a lot of immigrants to get their first job, because I'm sure a lot of people know, most of the companies said, do you have Canadian experience? But if you don't give them a Canadian experience, they'll never have a Canadian experience. So I have been helping a lot. Many stay with me, many don't. That's fine if they are, moving on to a mainstream organization to work. But the most difficult for a lot of immigrants is to land their first job.
Right. And for all this great community work, you've been awarded the Queen's Platinum Jubilee Medal. And of course, there are many other awards, many other accolades that you've already won. But compliments on that one. Congrats. What do you have to say?
Well, I'm very honored. And I think that it's really my conviction to be able, even at the beginning, to start a multicultural agency, which was very difficult, 33 years ago. I mean, a lot of people say, what is that, So because they don't even understand in the 90s that there were between 200 to 250,000 immigrants coming in every year. They don't even know that. And actually, they were not even targeting the existing immigrants. There were the Portuguese, the Greek, and the Italians there, they've been there since the 50s, 40s, So nobody was. So is that my conviction that in life is not just the agency itself, it's also to turn the dial in a sense of making sure that immigrants are being paid attention to. And that's what my passion has been.
All right. And before I let you go, I must compliment you on your great journey once again.
Thank you.
And anything else that you want to add? I know you have so much to share, so much knowledge, so much wisdom, and so much experience in terms of media and ethnic media advertising. What do you have to say?
Well, congratulations to you too as your expansion, all these years, over 20-something years, and offering such good content and also different platforms to your audiences. And I think to the immigrants is that, Canada is a land of opportunity, and it has been very good to me. But of course, it's also at the same time very hard work. If you are studious, if you are stay the course, if you're hardworking, there's always a door that opens for immigrants. If you might not be going back into the profession that you have back home, change your course. See what is the next best thing around the corner. A lot of people change their profession and ended up doing very, very well. So, but it's much better opportunity for yourself and also for your children here, of course, in Canada with the education and the environment. So it's just that if you are patient, it might not be that rosy in the first year, but before you know, there's always a door opening.
All right. Thank you so much for your time, and we'll definitely carry on this discussion in the coming years.
Thank you.
But it was a pleasure having you here at Channel Y. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
And congrats on this amazing journey.
Thank you very much.
Hope you enjoyed today's discussion. We will carry on our discussion as far as ethnic media is concerned. What is the future of media, especially ethnic advertising, and where do we see these platforms, whether it's a digital platform, print, radio, TV, who knows who will survive, but definitely these are very, very interesting times, and we will carry on the discussion right here on Channel Y. Keep watching Y Media.
Hi, this is Priyanka Chopra and you're watching Channel Y.
The biggest South Asian media group, Y Media.
Y Media Group, established in 2001, is a media company with a 360-degree approach in reaching our audience over 5 platforms: television, radio, newspaper, online news portal, and mobile app.
Y Media has newspaper, midweek, radio, South Asian pop.
Hi, I'm Amitabh Bachchan, and you're listening to South Asian Pulse.
Hi, this is Amir Khan, and you're listening to South Asian Pulse.
अब हर दिन सुने GTA का number 1 radio station FM 91.9.
All English 24/7 television network and Y Media Plus.
You are watching Channel Y. Channel Y.
Prime Minister, welcome.
It's a pleasure to be here. It's a pleasure to be back.
Online, SouthAsianDaily.com, the biggest South Asian media group, Y Media.